Please stop hacking everything. Just stop. Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. And as always, thank you to those who subscribe. I appreciate you. We tried to get some momentum in the last one for hashtag break the algorithm. We're going to continue pushing that. We've gotten some good feedback, and the feedback is mostly yes, let's do it, which is fantastic. We just need more momentum, and we're going to continue that momentum by advertising it, ironically using the algorithm. I see the irony. I just don't care. Come at me, Meta. I dare you. I mean, literally, come at me. What are you going to do? What, you going to sue me for everything I'm worth? Go for it. Have fun. Because I know I will. Anyways, I said at the beginning, stop hacking everything. Now, not hacking up a lung, because that's typically a sign of a deeper rooted problem that you should see a doctor about. No, I mean the tendency to call everything you do that makes life even slightly easier a hack. I saw this in a CNN article today talking about the miracle diet drug Ozempic. Which sounds like the kind of product that somebody would create in an evil dystopian future world. Ozempic, I believe, is typically prescribed for use in helping to manage diabetes, which is when your body has trouble regulating its own blood sugar, whether it's high, low, whatever. That's what Ozempic was meant for. But people are finding that it actually helps them in terms of craving hunger and helping them lose weight. CNN called this a weight loss hack, which is why Weight Watchers, one of those massive corporations, is now involved. A massive for-profit corporation getting involved with a diet drug that is being used off-brand, or off-label, I should say. There's no way that can go wrong. There's just, those corporations, they've always got our best interests at heart. Sidebar. I don't subscribe to the notion that corporations by default are evil, soulless entities. I don't subscribe to them being entities at all. The problem with corporations, and the reason why they seem like soulless entities, is because there's rarely a single point of blame. We talk about individual people, and if a person does something wrong, you can point to the person. I robbed Jack. Well, you can point to me and say, well, you robbed Jack. A corporation does something. It's hard to find someone to blame because it is so large. It's the same problem with our government. Our government has a massive bureaucracy, so that when things go wrong, you can't find the source of the problem because there's so much bureaucracy and so many layers and layers and layers, you can't sort through it. So I don't subscribe to the notion that corporations and the government are evil, soulless entities. I simply subscribe to the notion that perhaps they are a hair too big. They get a hair too big at some point, and they need to be pared down. This is why there were antitrust laws invented way back when. They're not enforced as often anymore, but antitrust was designed to prevent the sort of corporations that we see today. For example, Amazon would probably under previous antitrust law would probably be considered a monopoly. However, I have lost the thread for a moment. Let's get back on track. I was using Ozempic as an example of hacking, of ways to make your life simpler, mildly simpler. I would submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that if you have a goal and you have something that you wish to achieve, I would say don't reach for the pill as a way to reach that goal unless that pill is medically necessary. Look, I'm not going to push the crazy influencer stuff. Like, I'm not going to tell you don't eat seed oils. I don't think they're good for you, but you may disagree with me. I'm not going to tell you don't drink Diet Coke. I don't think it's good for you, but again, I know lots of people who would disagree with me on that. I don't drink soda. Like, I have maybe one soda a year at this point. But I know a lot of people who have a soda every day and they seem to be just fine. Look, you know who you are. You know what keeps you going, what keeps you healthy. Do you? What I'm going to say is that the easiest way is rarely the best way, and sometimes the best way is simply this. It is the simplest way. It's simply the simplest way. That's too many simples in one sentence. So let's try that again. Sometimes the easy way is the worst way, and the hard way is the best way. What do I mean by that? Okay, you take this wonder drug, Ozempic, and it works beyond your wildest dreams. You suddenly have the body of an AI hunk. Let's for a guy. We'll stick with the guy example. I start going into girls' bodies on this podcast, and I'm either going to get canceled or I'm going to become a hero to the red pill community, and neither of those things I want. But let's say you take this Ozempic and suddenly you have the body of the Adonis body that you've always wanted. It magically melted your fat away, your muscles were exposed, and you looked ripped like the Rock. You looked like a less heavy Rock. But what did that do to you? Okay, you lost weight. So what? Will it keep the weight off? Did you fix the habits that were sort of leading you down the path to the weight you didn't want on your body? I mean, did you? Or were you just taking a pill and letting the pill do the work? That's what it really comes down to, is that people find different hacks as a way to try and get around doing the work. There's going to be somebody who chirps in my mentions. But Nick, billionaires and other people to hack and get around it. Yeah, look, I'm not going to get into the morality of billionaires right now, but like, you know, even a guy like Jeff Bezos, he started out selling books out of his car. Like, even if in the last 10 years he hadn't done any work, he started off doing the work. And you can disagree with the business model. You can disagree with what Amazon does. You can disagree with the way Amazon treats its workers. Whatever. But he did work. There's some things that just aren't going to change no matter what we do in life. And the fact of the matter is that trying to develop a hack to make yourself healthier, to lose weight, it's just never going to be effective. It might be temporarily effective, but if you're not pairing that, like, let's say you say to yourself, okay, but what if I use it as like a kickstart, like as a way to, you know, get myself moving again? That's great. But that kickstart has to actually kickstart. Like, you have to actually have that development plan in place. And I would submit, for a lot of us, myself included, for a lot of us, it is very difficult to just be self-starting, even with a supposed hack. You know, we have this tendency to look at people who have achieved some kind of end result, watch them hawk a product, and then say, oh, that must have been how they got to that end result. This is why when you're kind of cruising Instagram, you want to be careful about who these fitness influencers are you look at. You see these guys who are like insanely jacked, who are just doing these ridiculous exercises. Like just these absurd exercises, like hanging and lifting a barbell with their ankles straight up into the air and then tossing it and flipping around and then doing a muscle up while they catch it on the other side. That's a party trick. That's not an exercise. Like, there's no benefit to you to actually building up to that. When are you going to use that? I'm sorry, but you're not Vin Diesel in a Fast and Furious movie. You're never going to need something that ridiculous. The only people you should follow are the people who, when you go to their page and when you examine what they're saying, they show not only the work that they're putting in, but they make it clear that the way they got to where they're going is by putting in the work. I would submit, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't want results where we haven't put the work in, where we haven't earned it. But what about, Nick, you're an actor. What about the actors who are overnight successes? There's no such thing. No actor has ever been an overnight success. No such thing. It's all that's a tale told during awards season to hype up voters. It's marketing. There's no such thing as an overnight success in anything, but especially in acting, but in anything. There's no overnight fitness successes. There's no magic pills that make you all of a sudden be good at anything. And that's okay. It's a good thing. Because why would you want to just suddenly be good at something but have no idea why you're good at it? You could have natural ability, but all the natural ability in the world doesn't mean jack if you don't know what you're doing. So I would submit to you, stop trying to hack things, except that you've got to just do the work. And do the work. If you're going to do a hack, talk to a medical professional first before you just start shoving something down your gullet. And, maybe take a walk. Start with 10,000 steps. If you can't start with 10,000 steps, start with 8,000. If you can't start with 8,000, start with 6,000, start with 4,000, start with 3,000, start with 2,000, start with 1,000, start with 1. You see where I'm going here. Rather than try to skip to step 5 of the journey, remember the old saying that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And with that, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed. Remember, don't hack. I couldn't come up with a rhyme for that, so we're gonna end here. Thanks for listening. If you liked it, like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, I don't know, go take some Ozempic. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.